Yes, guys, Beyond the 90, I don't know when you're seeing this, either before or after, but Beyond the 90 is out and Michael Owen is the star of that show with Harry Pinero. But listen to this first, because I'm going to give you a bit of background as to who you're watching. You need to know. Michael Owen. Not many people would even, especially the younger generation, would go, oh, he's won the Ballon d'Or. How many Englishmen have won the Ballon d'Or? And some people go, oh, I saw him play at the end of his, you weren't that when he was at the end of his career, you weren't really saying much, blah, blah. I'm like, no, go to prime time Michael Owen and get to know. The Beckham documentary is dropped, and I think there's a lot of young people going, oh, was he that good? I didn't know he was that good, or he was that big of a star. Michael Owen was a child prodigy, teenage prodigy. Came out of nowhere, bang, as like a 13-year-old, 14-year-old. England under 15 schoolboys on TV. Scored a wonder goal, dribbling past loads, scored on TV at Wembley, by the way. The first time I met him wasn't actually a game. It was actually at Lilleshall, which used to be the national school of football where young players used to be selected to go and stay there and live there for 2 years. He was one of those players, so he was one of the best. And I was on trial with England or with West Ham, playing a game against Lilleshall, and we was in the dinner queue on the premises at Lilleshall. And Michael Owen was a year younger than me, and he comes into the dinner hall, and it's like everyone's going, "There's Michael Owen, there's Michael Owen." Like that's what he was at 14 years old. Like he was the man. Like everyone was like, "This guy's the hottest thing since sliced bread." And then all of a sudden, it's like he gets in the first team of Liverpool, scores on his debut against Wimbledon, comes on and scores. I think he puts it bottom corner, and it's like no one's surprised. No one is even surprised who knows about or heard about him on the grapevine. So he's always was destined to be a star. And I always say this, there's only a few players. I think Jude Bellingham is the one you could relate it to now, that when he was 15, 14 years old, everybody knew where he was going. It was only injury that was probably going to stop him. Michael Owen is that guy. Michael Owen was the child superstar destined to be a top player in the world. But then he translates the form and the way he dismantled everything before him as a young kid, from Sunday League football to schoolboy football in Liverpool. He translated that into the first team immediately at club level and international level. So he goes into Liverpool, smashing it. I reckon he's just one of the top 2 or 3 quickest players I've ever played against. Now, if you see him at the end of his career, you wouldn't say that. Only Nicolas Anelka, I would say, is probably quicker. When they were both 18, 19, Nicolas Anelka was like a madness. So he beat me to a ball once. I couldn't believe it. And I was quick. Michael Owen was the same. I used to be on the halfway line. I'll never forget it. There's only a few players that have done this. I was on the halfway line at Anfield, 1v1 with Michael Owen. And I was thinking, wow, where's my teammates? Because he was that quick. And you know that normally with quick players, they're really quick, but something else comes out of their game or falls out of their game. They're really quick, but they ain't got a great touch. They're really quick, but they don't know when to run. They're really quick, but they ain't great finishers. That's what normally used to happen. So you could get away with it. You get a chance to get back. They get away from you, but you get back because they take a little bit longer to get on the end of things and whatnot, or make decisions. Michael Owen was the quickest, if not one of the quickest, but could do all the things that I said that might be lacking in a quick player. He knew when to run. His timing was impeccable. He knew how to make runs. He was brave. His finishing was top tier. He finished like somebody like who was just caressing the ball at times into the net. Do you know what I mean? He made runs like he was a slow player. Had to be perfect. Had to be timed right. Knew when to run. Just a top player. Could finish out anything he wanted. Head it, curl it, drill it, high, low, dink it. Like a ridiculous footballer. It's weird because I used to go away with England because I was 19 and he was 18, I think, at the World Cup. Or we were both 18, one of the two. But we hung about together, played pool, played table tennis. I used to slap him up at table tennis, slap his all over the place. Couldn't deal with me. But at pool, he was better than me, just. So we were with each other a lot. And we used to say things. We were like school kids with the England team at that World Cup. Because World Cup 98 in France, like, it was unbelievable. We're sitting there and Michael Owen, we used to do football training, and I'm thinking that Michael Owen's not one of the best young players about, right? The world didn't know about him properly yet, but he's one of the best players around. If you knew, you knew. Best young kids. You used to do, Glenn Hoddle used to do in his warm-ups, skills, skill sessions, like teams of 6, 7, and you have to run out through the cones, get to one end, chip it back on the volley, do it. He used to hate it. It was rubbish. Couldn't do it. Rubbish. Touch all over the place. Baggy. He will tell you this. But get Michael Owen on the football pitch and say, right, find the quickest way to goal and finish. No one's competing with him. That was the difference of him. He weren't about no tiki-taka, dribbling, skills, showboat business. No, I'll get to goal quicker than you, and the defender won't get time to react, and I'll dispatch it quick. And that's what he was like. So for them 3 or 4 years, unplayable, no one liked it around. I'm telling you, he was a joke. But then you go to the World Cup in France, the Argentina goal, that everyone got to know Michael Owen. That's when he announced himself to the world. And we'd seen him do this type of thing constantly in training. I remember in training one time, he had England's best defenders on the ropes, on the floor. Everyone looking around at each other going, wow, did you see that? Leaving people in his wake. The fear, you could sense it. It was a joke, man, seriously. England's best. But Argentina, the goal scored, but on the bench before he scored that goal, he's saying, I'm going to score. I will score. They won't know how to deal with me. I can see the weaknesses. This guy, he was an intelligent player, saw the gaps, saw the weaknesses, and he was like that. Every time we were on the bench in that World Cup, he was going, he's got to put me on. He's got to put me on. I'll score. I'm going to score, I'm telling you. And he done what he said he would do. He was a joke. And so Michael Owen doesn't get the respect I think he deserves. You can see the picture behind me. He's holding a trophy that we all call the Ballon d'Or, by the way. So just remember, the respect on his name needs to be there. And I look at it now and go, okay, you look at, I don't know, Rashford was flying. You look at, I don't know, Saka flying. You look at Foden. You look at all these young strikers in English or attacking players. Primetime Michael Owen, none of them get near. No disrespect to any of them, but primetime Michael Owen is levels, not A level, levels above. I'm telling you, he was a joke. So you got to go and just watch him on some of them old tapes, man, and just watch what he used to do. There was fear everywhere he went. Newcastle hat-trick, remember that one? That one, when he done that with Paul Ince? Bro, I was after the World Cup, I think. He was just confirming that, listen, this ain't no flyby thing. This is me. This is what I do. He was a joke. Cup final, I think it was at Millennium Stadium, Cardiff. 2 goals, late goals against Arsenal. Tony Adams on the floor in a heap. Like, this is what he done. He had no fear. He was a dirty little so-and-so as well. I remember he tried to smash Peter Schmeichel once. I think he got red carded at Old Trafford. He could roll with it. He didn't mind. He didn't mind mixing it. He was only little, but he didn't mind mixing it. He was brave, man. Tough little man. But I just feel that the younger generation who watch the channel, who don't know too much about Michael Owen or only see the latter stage of his career when he was at Newcastle, maybe Stoke and that and Man United, that was not the best version of Michael Owen. Go back, do your research. And all these guys you talk about today, Haaland even. Look at Haaland. Great player, great finisher. I think Michael Owen was striking more fear into defenders. I'm going to go as far as to say that. Michael Owen was doing more for me. Not scoring as many goals, but he could unpick a defence in more ways probably than Haaland would. Michael Owen could dribble with the ball, run past people with pace, run from the halfway line, score the toe poker tap-ins in and around the penalty box, score the headers. He could do a lot. I'm going as far as to say that I think he might have been harder to play against than Haaland. And I haven't played against Haaland, so it's a bit difficult to say that. But I'm presuming once I've played against both of them and looking at the styles, me personally, the way I played, I think Michael Owen's a harder player to play against for me than Haaland, who's the best number 9 in our league right now.